Okay. So,
the liquidity, it has a volume imbalance on the top of it or below it, respective to it being bullish or bearish. Okay, and that's all it is. So now we're going to part where I have to remind you that this is not a signal service. It is not for you to copy with a real account. You are going to lose today. If you do everything I'm going to do in front of you, everything I'm telling you that I'm going to execute on, okay? I am not promising you a positive outcome. I'm not trying to trick you in trade. I'm not trying to get, oh, I lost because I meant to do that. I'm literally teaching how my son is to overcome his fear about executing with a limit order. Because right now he's plunking down just market orders. Right now he's working with a Top Step account. He's got, I think he said $1,200. I don't know how they work, to be honest with you. But he said he's got $1,200 or so, and then he gets what they call funded. So I guess I don't know what that really means. I just know that Cameron's done it before. He got a payout, and Caleb has the lowest account, whatever account size that was, has. He only has one of them, and he's trying to get funded by tomorrow. That is his goal. I told him, I said, what happens if you do it by Friday, or what if you do it by next week? What's the hold up? Like, what's the big deal? He's just trying to do it. So we'll see. Okay, but he's had consecutive winning days, and there it is. So once he gets it accomplished, I'll have him send me the proof of it, and then I'll tweet it, and that way you can see it. And then he'll have, I guess, a funded account, and then his goal is he's to make his weekly salary for 4 weeks. But when he makes it, he has to stop trading. Imagine that, right? Like he's going to be in a position where he could potentially take money out of whatever this account is. And he knows that he can do more. And he knows that I'm watching him and I'm holding him to the fire that he has to do this. So the first rule of Fight Club is you have to don't talk about Fight Club. Obviously, that's the first rule. Okay. So in trading, you don't go to work and tell everybody that you're going to quit your job. You don't tell Carl what you're going to do. You don't tell Carl that you're trading. You don't tell Carl you just got a funded account. You don't tell Carl you just put money in a real account. You keep everybody in the blind. Don't talk about it. Okay. And I'm teaching him to trust that with one contract, not five, not 20, not 15, not 30, whatever it is they offer, one. Never, ever, 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 ever about the outcome of that trade because you're trading with leverage. So one contract retires you. One contract removes you from your job. Your long commutes, Caleb, one contract does that. So when you feel the impulse to go into two contracts or three contracts, or if you do finally get a losing trade, don't think you got to correct it by doing contracts. Just go home with the loss. It's not a problem. It's not a big deal. It's easy to fix that. But just be patient. So I'm going to type this out, okay, and it's going to be a reminder to you all, okay? This is called volatility pinball, meaning that what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be buying and selling with a limit order, and we're going to teach Caleb, and you're all going to learn how to do it as well, how to practice with a demo account and desensitize yourself to price action. Also, reading order flow, running against liquidity, trading inefficiencies. Okay, you want to learn how to pick the right fear gap. You want to learn how to pick the right order block. You want to learn the right draw on liquidity. This is how you do it. My books are not going to help you. My videos aren't going to help you. Paying somebody else to talk about my stuff, parroting it, and sometimes saying it, many times saying it wrong, they're not going to help you. Watching streamlined 5 minute help you. All of that stuff is useless until you get into the chart and do what I'm about to show you today. You got to press the button. You have to have something engaging your attention so that way you can see it. You have to feel it. Now, I want you to think about something. I got 1.4 million followers on YouTube. I have actually more than that because the majority of the comment section are left by people that don't follow the channel. Download the videos. That's why the views aren't as high as they are. They don't watch them. They download them because they're afraid that I'm going to delete the channels or somebody's going to come in and say, "Let's get this guy shit off the internet. It's making people really, rich." So, I mean, you're welcome to download them. I don't care. I mean, I'm putting out there for public consumption anyway. But the idea is this, okay? When we're looking at price action, I'm going to magnify this, and we're going to trade. Now, it's going to chop up your account if you try to do this with real money, or if you're trying to trade this with me with a funded accounting money. And it's not about losing a little bit. It's about entering. It's about using specific price points to enter and practice. And over time, what will happen is you're going to see a graduated improvement in what you're seeing in the chart and what you're keying up on as an entry. Okay. You'll see what I mean when we go through. The first couple of them, I'm just going to wing it. I'm just going to toss it in there and say, okay, I want to see it go to this liquidity or this high or low, okay, or this inefficiency above or below. But let me get this chart set up and type out my disclaimer first, because otherwise Yahoos are going to take this and have a field day with it. But hopefully, I'm not sure how many people are actually watching right now live, but hopefully you guys can appreciate what I'm doing here, and what I'm explaining is not for you to think that this is me taking trades to make money. That's not what this is. Real quick, let me show you this. This is what I do every single session, okay? For disclosure and for advisor, okay? In the United States, I do not hold a certified trade advisor license. I'm not legally in a position to tell you how to invest your money. That's why we're talking over top of a paper trading account. You see that? Now watch what happens. When I click on this, okay, you can see that the balance is $112,200, okay? That's the profit from last night's Asian session trade. You see the date on that right there? What I do is I'll log that. I'll put the date in. I'll give any kind of reference point that's going to be a major driver for the day. And because I know that if I click on this little area over here and I click on chat, you're going to see TradingView talking to me. TradingViews asked me to have a partnership and affiliate program with them. Okay. I have respectfully declined. I have these already recorded and screenshot in case they delete it, so that way it never, looks like I'm telling you. I don't want any kind of bullshit coming from it. I want to be able to use this platform because my community has asked me to use this platform. When I left MT4, I asked everybody that was my community, I said, what platform would you like me to use? And they all, predominantly said this one. So I didn't choose this platform. My community chose it for me. Now think about this, okay? I know some of you can't get this. Some of you just cannot fucking fathom why anybody would do this, okay? But think about it logically. If you see me taking trades, okay, here's the historical tab, and it's only going to show you the trades that I did last night. These are the executions. Everything is here. Everything here is directly related to what was shown in. I hear my puppy snoring like a. That's these trades right here. Okay. Everything here and what I recorded and shared on Twitter last night, that's this. Now, what happens? What happens if you work for TradingView? What happens if you have the access to see my account? Okay. I don't give a flying fuck if you feel this way, but this is how I view it. Okay. And because I have a measure of obsessive compulsive disorder, I don't want this in the back of my mind because it's always in the back of my mind. So this is exactly what I did. I'm going to show you exactly what I do. I've shown this to my private mentorship group. This is exactly what I do every fucking day in TradingView. I do this every single day. Do you see any red here? Do you see that? No. Every session, every new session start, okay? Sometimes I'll see a Yahoo say, oh yeah, show us the trade history, you reset. When I see that, I immediately say, okay, I'm going to keep the account active and I'll do another trade so that way they can see the previous session trade was still in it. And I'll delete the executions. I'll go to show the S&P contract and then come back to the NQ. Because if you do that and you reset your account, you won't be able to pull the old executions up. They won't be able to be retrieved. So because, and I'm going to say this for the last fucking time, and if anybody has a problem with this, you can direct them to this minute marker of this video because I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm tired of it. I understand that a lot of people out there cannot accept the fact that I know what I'm doing, and you love to say I can't trade, and I love watching you type that shit out because it literally gives me a fucking raging hard on because you believe your bullshit, and I love it. But I want you to understand if there is a way that TradingView can pull up all of my annotations, if I can pull up, listen, if I can sign out of TradingView right now, and I saved. If I use the layout right now, I have naked. It was just simply me using a brand new fresh chart, and I marked it all up based on yesterday's analysis with Powell and all that. So I did everything in front of you live with all the markups. If I sign out of TradingView and I come back to it at a later time, a week later, these annotations that I left there are going to be waiting for me. Do you think that it's reasonable to assume that anyone in the right position of TradingView that they can go into my charts and see what annotations I have noted? It's pretty reasonable to anticipate that that is likely, very likely, right? Because if I can pull up the information, why certainly shouldn't they be able to do it? Now, take it one step further. What happens when I have an account that they have clearly seen me fucking run these things up? I've proven it with my private mentorship. I've ran up an account. I've showed the entire full history. I've done huge fucking runs, huge runs, millions of dollars in these things. Okay. I don't like the fact that they could very easily do what many of you do with your funded accounts, put a trade copier on it. So nobody on this fucking planet is going to be able to trade like me. They're not going to be able to trade like me. Not as consistent, not as perfect as I can be, as I want to be. I can turn it on and turn it off. But here, I'm at a circle. Okay? So what I do is to keep these motherfuckers from doing that, every session when I'm done showing an example, watch what happens. Ready? I go over this little box or this little gear thing here. Okay. I click on it. And then I do this. Watch this, right? It costs me no money at all. It's free. Watch that. Ready? Look, watch what happens. Ready? It's gone. It's gone. I've proven this with my private mentorship students because I've had students there too say, how do we know? How do we know? I'm telling you, I reset every session. After trade, I delete the fucking account and start all over again. I don't give anybody at TradingView the opportunity ever to copy me. And then what I'll do is, because I've created a new account, I always do this. Watch, pay close attention. Now, because it's reset, I go over here and then I'll go to the chart and then I'll add this. I'll say, okay, right now I want to go long. Don't follow me, by the way. Please don't do this. I'm just telling you what it is I do to keep these people from ever wanting or trusting that they can copy me. I want to go long right now. So I'll buy that. And let me show you the orders and stuff. Now, you might think this is a little paranoid. I'm sorry if you think that way, but I know if I had access to following somebody like myself, I would fucking do it. If I could put a copier account on somebody like me, and I'm actively in here running mentorships and proving that I could trade, and I'm going to go out with the intended purpose that I'm going to try to do well. If I could put a copying account on that, I'm absolutely fucking going to do it, and I would risk getting fired doing it. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck because whatever this guy ICT is doing in his account, whether it's demo or not, and he's making 20, 30,000, 40,000, $100,000 account moves. Come on, man. If I'm leveraged up on that with a funded account, I'm done. I'm the world leader, right? I'm done, and it's done inside of a month. So in my head, that's what's going on. So I have to go through this process of saying, okay, I need to throw them off. And I do this, it helps me. It helps me discard all these things that are very distracting to me because my mind is going 100,000 miles an hour all the time. And while I'm talking to you, there's several different topics that are trying to fight to get to the front of the line. So I can't have anything distracting me or it's going to mess me up. I won't be able to focus. Like I can't focus. If I know that I'm running the same account through TradingView in a demo account, I know that there's a potential for them to copy me for the purpose of just copying me with a funded account. They don't have to necessarily be risking any real money. They're just risking, I guess, the reset fees. But be honest for a second, okay? Just for a sec. Even if you don't fucking like me, if you don't believe me, if you don't trust me, you think I'm a fucking guy that lives in a gutter somewhere, some fucking slum, whatever you want to think about me, put yourself in my position, okay? Say you could actually trade. Just suspend your disbelief about whether you think I can trade or not. What happens if it was you and you knew how to trade and you could trade really, really good? Would you feel comfortable knowing that anyone at this company could do it and I would never know? I would never know. But because my mind thinks this way, it's a fucking problem for me. It's a very big problem for me, which is the reason why I tell all of you when you follow my live stream and I'm giving you commentary and it pans out and you've taken live trades with that with money, did you over leverage? Are you going to follow what I'm doing? And what happens if I'm wrong? What happens if I get a case of the ass and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to show this person don't do that. You don't know what it's going to happen. You don't know how I can turn and flip. Okay, I can swing from one spectrum to the next. So to keep me balanced, I do something like this. I'll go in here. No reason to get into that trade. Tell me what in my repertoire tells me to be long there. Nothing. But what I'll do is I'll put that on, and then I'll go right down here, and I'll reset again. And then I'm set for the session. And then I'll go in, and I'll look for my execution for my private mentorship, or if I'm sharing something, or if I'm practicing. So that's the truth. That's what I do. That's why you don't get to see the history tab. But, okay, for a week, the final week of our trading before we go into the holiday break, which is the last week of this, what is that actually? So the Halloween, no, was it the 1st of November? I'll give you the 1st of November. That's our last live stream, okay? The week of October 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, and November 1st, I will show you every single thing that happens on the historical tab on one account, okay? So, well, that's not 30 days. That's not 3 months. That's not 6 months. I don't owe you that shit, folks. And some of you honestly believe that you're entitled to something. You're not entitled to me talking to you at all right now, let alone fucking give you anything else. Like, you need to dial back that shit. Like, you think that you're so significant that other people, let alone me, are obligated to bend to your expectations and your will. Like, fuck you and your will. Fuck you and your expectations. I'm here because I want to teach my kids. That's the whole reason why these videos have ever been produced. It's for them. You're just fortunate enough to be listening to it. So now let's go in, type out the disclaimer. Okay, so hopefully this is going to be, we're going to actually do this on a one chart run. That way nothing can be taken out of context with another chart. And that's not what I want to do. So let's magnify that one. All right, so that way everything is here. Everybody understands now. Audibly one more time, because I want to be able to know that I've said this ad nauseum. Please, please, for your own sake, do not copy me with a live account. Please do not copy me with a funded account combine. Please do not copy me with your funded account. I promise you, if you do this, you're gonna incur losing transactions or trades, and that's going to mean that you're going to lose money. Please don't do that. The purpose is to teach my son how to place a limit order, how to put the stop loss in, and how to put a take profit in. So everything is removing the necessity for market orders. Okay, so I'm going to change this to 1. All right, and everything that I execute on, I'm going to keep this up here so that we can see it's not market replay, and you can see that the little button up here is showing that it's the market is open. You all are here live, okay? So however many that are here, you're seeing what I'm seeing as it happens.
Hello.
Actually, let's do this. Let's take a water closet break. For some of you that don't know what that means, it's a bathroom break. That way I can continue until 10:30 unhindered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type out that we're taking a 5-minute break. And we will be muted for that duration. I'm going to go relieve myself and come right back, and then we'll be at it.
Shit. Yeah.
All right. Appreciate you giving me an opportunity to do that. I'm sure you probably took advantage of it as well. Now, can you imagine the folks that will feel until I do 10 of these, how long it will be, okay? Just know that if we are thinking, Caleb, that if we're bearish, if this is the market price at 241.5, if this is market price and you think that it's going to go to this level down here, what level would that be? That'd be like an old low, relative equal lows, inefficiency below price, or in this case, the new day opening gap. That could be a draw. Okay. Right now we're seeing it trade into an inefficiency, which is this blue shaded area. If this is where you think price is going to go, that's your draw on liquidity. You have to know where you think you're going to be wrong. In the beginning, son, you're going to do this wrong a lot, and it's normal. Okay, you don't have to worry about it. Don't make it like a big thing. beginning, you're going to think about it like that the rest of your career. This is your stop loss. You must always have one of these. You never, ever, ever assume a position and not have this. Ever. This is your insurance policy, okay? This tells the market that you are admitting that you're wrong, and this is a good time to be wrong, because if it goes to this point, you're basically saying that if price goes from market price and you get in the area near this, but it trades up to this price point, you're saying to yourself and to the market with your execution that I am wrong about my idea. And I want to be out at that price, because if it goes to this price, your belief is it could go higher and incur larger risk or loss. And this is to mitigate that unrealized exorbitant loss or blown account. So this is not a bad thing. It's not to be viewed as something terrible. It's not a cancer cell, okay? It's not something that you want to stay away from. It's something that you want to embrace. This is your shield, okay? Where market price is, that is where we're at right now, mark to market. That means wherever the most recent tick in price is showing, every time this little green box moves and fluctuates, that's market price. 251 and a quarter, 251 and a half, 250 even, 49 and a half, 250 even, 250 and a half. Okay, that's market. Okay, this is essentially your target. This is what you're aiming for. Since this drill is not equipped to do things like partials, it's one and done. It's a full stop, full target. That's it. One of the two are going to happen. Whichever one trips first ends that exercise, and you got to wait to do another one. Okay, so if you're expecting price to draw down here, that means you're bearish. You have to be able to determine where you're going to frame your stop loss at. That entry point is the secondary concern. And let's say that this is your entry. Your entry price. And this will be based on if we're bearish, some kind of a premium array. Okay. So how would you frame a setup like that? Well, when we're bearish, we want to sell short when price is going up. So we're going to sell on a limit. So if market price is right here, well, let's just do it real quick with this one. See this little gap? See that little gap right there? We can go in, right click on the platform, go to trade, sell limit, one contract, right there, just above. Let's move it down here. Right. There's the actual high. One tick below it is there. The stop loss gets dragged to the high. And then the target would be taken down to the high plus one tick right there. Okay. So now what I've done is I've used the logic over here that I was outlining. The market would have to come up, trade to this candlestick's high, and that would book the limit order entry on a short. The stop loss would be here, the take profits down here. I don't personally care. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. That's the execution, that's the entry. And the logic is over here. You're seeing it do this. Like, here's the market price. It has to go up to it. So you're selling short as the market is going up, away from where you think it's going to go. Limit orders have to be entered above the market price when you're selling short. When you're buying on a limit, Okay, when you're trying to do the opposite, say you're bullish, everything here would reverse. It would be something like this. And say you believe that the market's going to go up to some old high, some kind of fair value gap, something to that effect. And you have to be able to frame it around the basis of here's the market price. And at the time, if you're bullish, you can frame a trade on entering on a limit. So you're going to buy on a limit. That means the market price has to drop down to your price and lower. So whatever your limit order price is, if you're trying to buy it, it has to go at least a minimum of one tick below that price. That's the filling mechanism. Okay, so it has to fulfill that at least to accomplish that order being executed. If it just trades to your price and not go any lower than that, it won't fill you. Sometimes, because of your contract size, if there is a say you're trying to do an 8 or 10 contract trade. Okay, so now you guys watch and see a losing trade. Okay, what you're going to do is log this. I'll come back to that in a second. You're going to log that. From your entry, how much did it give you in terms of unrealized profit, if at all? How much time did it take to get to target? It didn't get to target. How long did it take in terms of time to get to your stop out? How much time did it take for that to happen? And then what happens is you get data based on that. How much time do your trade executions last? So you don't have a baseline on how long your trades usually last. Now, there are tools out there. There are things that give you that KPI, that measuring instrument of how long your average trade is. What is your average profit? What is your average risk per trade? All those things can be calculated by yourself manually. And you want to have that data yourself. You don't want to just rely on some kind of external thing. You want to get comfortable with seeing it and knowing what it is for yourself as a trader. All right, so that's one. So we have one transaction done. And you're not trying to make money, Caleb. You're trying to practice using the mechanism of a limit order, framing the setups, okay? Let me finish this back here, and then we'll go just right into price action because we're right. Let's watch the opening price. I don't have the disclaimers on here. I should have had that on there. Sorry. I'm watching that little inefficiency there. But if you're bullish, you're going to see market price. You have to wait for price to drop. That's what high frequency trading algorithms use for their entry models. It has to drop down first, here to here, and go below that by one tick. Okay, and then the buy limit order, if you're bullish, that would trip, and then you would look for it to draw to your target or get stopped out. So if you're buying, you're going to be buying below market price on a limit. If you're selling short, you're selling above the market price on a limit. All right. So let's pull up the regular trading hours. Small little gap in here. It's already filled that. There we are. On some music that you like listening to, and just relax. Don't try to put too much emphasis on this. Gap. Down to gap. Okay, so this is drill number 2. And you log every individual point of reference for your measurement. Okay, so there you go. There's one. So now we have 50-50. We have, what do you do to instigate the trades, ICT? Like, because Caleb's learning the fair value gap, his practice session is going to be just simply looking for fair value gaps. After the market has created some measure of jaggedness, like it's made its jaggedness up here, traded down, you watch me pick this one here. Obviously, you know what that one is. I mean, it's the first fair value gap of the morning. It's at 9:31. So it fits the criteria, and you saw how fast it delivered. So I just want the haters to take notice of that. But anytime that you're trying to trade with an order block, if you're practicing with that, you can trade with institutional order flow entry drills. Whatever mechanism or PDA rate you're using to practice with, that's what you're doing. Okay. All right. So I see this gap in here, but I want to try to alternate buying and selling back and forth. Like I want to do that for the purposes of kind of like skewing the experience factor. Looking for a coin, but nobody has any cash anymore around here. But I was going to flip a coin, and I would go short. That would be my first exercise. But I just said, screw it. I'll just go in here and just wing it. Jamming to Kicks, rocking right now. Kicks is a local band, old rock band. All right, now let's say that you were going to try to be a counter trend trader, okay? And we're in a 15-second chart. Let's try to do a drill, which is obviously going against order flow, but you want to get this experience. You want to feel what it feels like to enter the order using the logic. The market drops, as we've already shown 2 times here, selling short with a limit order. I want to try to find one on a buying opportunity, even though it's against the underlying order flow. And if we can frame a small little fair value gap here on the 15-second chart and try to trade back up into this inefficiency right here and try to draw back directionally to the new week opening gap. It need not trade back there all the way, but if it can give me an opportunity to this thing's lagging. Well, I would be in long right now. The stop, where it is. Let's see, it's fucking around. Trading View, look, man, you're losing here in front of everybody. I'm trying to show this stuff with your stuff, and you asked me to do an affiliate program, and I'm not able to use it in front of the world. Okay, so we'll get back up into there. You see me adjusting it, but it won't update. So awful. Good grief. Again, Trading View, this is a bad look for you today. That should be stopped at, yeah. So that would be framed on as it was looking like a fair value gap, trying to trade up to there. So now you have 3 transactions. Immediate response, stopped out. It's not giving you any indication that it wants to go higher. Wonderful. Pay attention to this, Trading View. I know you watch my videos, but you got to get your shit together because this is not a good look. All right, so now scrunching this up, we have that. Remember that yesterday I was showing you the 60-minute discount wick consequent encroachment? We're trading inside of. I want to be filled in that gap right there. And stop us right there. take profit. We'll try to aim for just above that consequent encouragement wick. Okay, this is execution 4. Again, all we're doing is practicing. What I just did there, I was looking in between these 2 candlesticks here, and I want to be inside that as an entry. It's not something that's scary. It's only scary because you're saying it should be scary. You're saying that it demands the results of profitability or being right. It's not about being right. This is something for you to play with. And you're using the demo account properly. You're executing with it, including the use of the PD arrays and looking for liquidity and following order flow. Go against order flow sometimes. Get a feel for what it feels like to do that. Because if you try to avoid every instance of where things might hurt you, you're never getting in big money yet. And that's a scary feeling. You think it's going to feel good. It's not. It's going to be terrifying because you're going to freeze up. You're not going to know what to do. So if you relax, let's say it that way, if you just simply relax and allow your practice sessions, these drills, like you taking a walk, it's good for your health. Put some music on, listen to an audiobook. You're exercising. You're moving your trading muscles. You're trading with the tools. You're using the logic. And now watch. This is something where if it took out this low, say it takes out that low, if you want to go one step further in your drill, in your annotations, you would say, okay, hypothetically, if this were a trade that I was using in my funded account, I would take a partial right there if I had more than one contract. And that means this would no longer be open to a loss because you've pocketed something. And then you can roll the stop after that partial. And when you're practicing, even though you have one contract on, the logic is you annotate that one partial was taken below the low here. So you would have a partial below here from your entry. That's pretty good. Like it's better than most live streamers out there in terms of what they're capturing. I'm not trying to shit on any of them, but I'm just saying, like, let's be practical here. Some of these guys out there are not looking for all the money out and then start all over again. That way you've banked $500,000. It's yours. Like they can't take it from you. If you're going to be consistent by starting all over again because you have a huge windfall right now at your reach. You just take it. And he made his decision. So the idea that you would like build in a pyramid, you can practice that too. I don't necessarily see anything yet that I would have pyramided on, except for that one right in here. That's a nice little one. That right there, that's a nice point. But if you recall, remember these levels over here yesterday? Like down here, it's like these relative equal lows. I think if I'm not mistaken, it was on a, I don't know what time frame it was, to be honest with you. Oh yeah, duh. There's the benefit of having annotations correctly, right? The 15-minute relative equal lows based on September 23rd's weekly low. But we also, if this were to stop out, we can look for another opportunity to engage with it to see if we can get a rundown into the discount wick constant encouragement of the hourly chart and maybe try to gravitate towards that. All you're doing is getting experience. That's all this. It's not about being better than somebody else. It's not about being profitable. It's not about passing combines. It's you just practicing, getting used to taking the orders and entering them, and then submitting yourself to whatever the market's going to do afterwards. Because right now, I don't have control over what the market's going to do. Like I have to submit to it. Like fucking fear of doing this. Zero fear. Even less now because this is a drill. But you're going to see me pick the right moves. You're going to see me trade them with precision. They're going to go to my targets. And you're going to be left with, hey,